Hello and welcome to Live Long and Podcast Enterprise at 8, where we are reviewing Season 3, Episode 5, Impulse from 2003. I am your host, your only host, Davan Skelhorn, because, well, I vaporized Jody.
Yeah.
Frankly,
20 years ago.
20 years?
We were playing a harmless game of Stunsies, and I accidentally moved my setting up to kill. And,
You didn't know it was a rescue mission.
No, I didn't know it was a rescue mission. Jody's gone now.
You thought he was already too far gone to save.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it was an accidental thumb maneuver there, but here we are. And with me, my cousin, everybody's cousin, Dave Mater.
Hello and good evening. Yes, I'm here to talk about these zombie Vulcans. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what's funny? It also joining us is that's not what's funny. I'll do the funny thing first, and then I'll introduce you, Kevin. What's funny is this is at exactly 28 warps into the Xindi mission, so this episode was going to be called 28 warps later, and instead they just went with Impulse. Also with us is Kevin Millard, our lovable Bajoran worker.
Yes.
Yes.
How are you tonight?
No, not too bad. Jody, you're alive.
I am.
Well,
Sorry, I'm late.
That was a fancy transporter trick you did there, bud.
Well, when you have a ship full of what do you call them? Romulans. I mean Vulcans. Never mind. These guys aren't supposed to have any emotions. Anyway,
common misconception.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome, Jody.
Thank you.
So we got Davan was getting through the intros, and
It sounded like he was doing it, so I think he needs to host today. So
sounds good.
Okay.
It's all on him now.
That
I'm
means
just
the
a bystander.
details discovered by Jody.
All right, I'll do details today.
All right. Well,
Well,
we can all talk about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into it, guys.
So,
Yeah,
let's
Impulse.
do it.
Um,
Opening thoughts, anyone?
What can you say? Okay, hold on. Before we get into the screenshots, okay,
I have something to say.
T'Pol of the Dead.
Yeah, well, you kind of said it earlier, David.
28 warps later.
In the more in the chat this morning, where you were like, you had forgotten that this season is a bit slow to really get into it, and
Takes till the shipment to get good, and that's two episodes from now.
That's two. We still gotta wait. What? We still gotta wait two more before we really get rolling, because they're really dragging out this plot, and I don't think that they need to. Like, I don't know. It feels like they were still struggling with, like, well, how, is our show going to work in syndication or not if we go too serialized? I don't know if they really had made up their minds about how they wanted to approach this, or how much they wanted to go serialized or episodic.
The problem with this episode is they took what could have been one of the more interesting plots in the Expanse, which is finding the Saleya and what happened to them. And for me, a zombie apocalypse is the least interesting thing that could have happened to the Saleya. So it's just like they completely threw the episode away. And Scott Bakula used to comment quite a bit on how taxing the episode load was on the writers and stuff. Like, he used to say that openly, more than you'd ever hear other actors say that. So I think they just this was a filler personified.
Well, you got to remember, like, you're dealing with an ongoing storyline. Doing 24 episodes, breaking down that storyline is going to be hard. You're going to have to put something in there. Like, it's 20. Well, when you think about it, it's 40 minutes per episode, 44-ish minutes.
Yeah.
And then you have 24 episodes. That's a lot. Like, that's like writing like 10 movies. Like, it's a lot. So they're going to have to fill something there.
Yeah, and Deep Space Nine had its share of filler episodes too. It wasn't like, even when they were, we know because
Dominion War. What?
Within the Dominion War, it's not all.
Yeah,
it's
like
not
there's
all explosions and
two episodes of the Dominion War, and then all of a sudden it goes to something completely different. Then by the way, there's a war going on.
sometimes you got to get your dad a baseball card or something.
I don't know
like
what
that.
you guys are waiting for. This was great. It was
I
great.
have no problem with
Zombie
this episode.
Vulcans. I fucking loved it.
Well, they're
Loved it.
basically just Romulans, but anyway.
No,
I guess we
those are
beg to
zombies.
differ.
How are the Romans and Vulcans related is one question here from Sam, who, by the way, says he loves this episode. He's giving it 10 out of 10.
I don't know if I'd go that far. But
Yeah, I'm not going 10 out of 10, but I loved this. I thought it was great.
it was
Good
a
diversion.
campy episode. It was fun.
I don't
And-
need every episode to be the Xindi plot. I mean, we haven't even really gotten into it, so I don't know. But
Well,
it's
it's
the
trickling
same,
in
like you
right
were
now,
saying with Deep Space Nine. You know, when you think back to Deep Space Nine instead of watching it week to week, you think that the Dominion War is a much bigger part of that show than it really is.
Yeah, it isn't.
And I think
yeah.
it's going to be the same with this.
Yeah. Sometimes it's Major Kira's dealing with Mirror Burial or something like that.
This is definitely way better than that.
Better than that.
I
Just
agree.
Wow.
It's way better than Mirror Burial.
That isn't hard.
question, Sam, in the comments is, of course, we're a live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch.
Of course, the Romulans left Vulcan many, many moons ago.
Yes.
Many rotations around
Think
the
of them
sun.
like the cousins
ago.
of the Vulcans.
Yeah, they're like an offshoot, and
with
so
more feelings.
The
Back when the
sort of-
Vulcans were still crazy.
yeah, because they talk about the Vulcans used to be violent and paranoid and homicidal.
But that's what
And-
I'm saying. These are basically Romulans.
Right. Actually, the Romulans feel more evolved than what the Vulcans just how they describe themselves as how they used to be. Right.
True.
Like
The
For
way I
sure.
gather it is they were just like, look at all these like insane people around us. Let's get out of here. And then once they left, Vulcans found logic.
right.
Yeah.
When it was only the most insane people left. Maybe it's the
Mhm.
more the passionate
And
yet
Surak.
not.
Finally, they
homicidal.
were like, "This is not working for us."
Yeah. So much to the point that the Vulcans and the Romulans kind of forgot that they were the same species to start with. Many long.
I just want to give a shout out to Corporal Hawkins, who managed to survive and not be a red shirt.
Yeah, they tried to kill him too.
Good for him.
Get here. Comment here from Jaemeel says, "I heard Jody has a problem with his trivial debates hosting. What gives Jody?"
Oh,
Well, this is a
wow.
little off topic, but
Putting you on blast.
I have a problem with him.
he heard.
I have a
he heard-
problem with the outcome, but that's not necessarily your fault.
Well, it is his fault because he made me the winner.
Well, he made you the winner based on the information he had at hand, I guess.
Yeah. Jane says, "What did you think of Jameel's hosting?" I said it was great, especially the part where I won.
I think Jaemeel is a natural born host, personally.
know?
But
So
That is so on brand.
You guys
for
want
Dave.
something way more like zombie apocalypse, and you guys are like in the zombie romp aside.
Jody
you guys
fears
want
Jameel
something far
in the
more-
trivial debates.
oh
already.
yes, I'm known for fearing people at trivial debates, being the most winningest
He only
person
fears
on
me.
it.
He fears
Yeah,
me. a
I
little.
fear nobody. Maybe
Well,
Kevin, but that's
we
about
might
it.
need a Jody Jameel showdown.
That's
sooner
fine.
than
Bring
later.
it.
But before guys, let's get back on topic. Star Trek Enterprise Impulse. Why is this? I was like, why is this called Impulse? Because it's taking away her logical
Her
abilities.
impulses.
She's being more impulsive. Okay.
She has impulses.
It should have been called 28 warps later.
Yeah, I would have liked that better. But I like. What did you guys think of the opening where Archer brings her in here? This is basically the end of the episode, nearly. When they're kind of out of.
The one thing
harm's-
that hit me right away in this episode, but especially how they did the opening, was how this episode was shot. It wasn't shot like a traditional episode. It's got that kind of, weird kind of
Action. It's
framing
more
and
actiony.
very actiony, and I think it's even dropping frames too. I'm not even
And
sure,
there's
but I think they're dropping like 20 frames.
Like they're
a
trying to
second or
film it
something.
like an alien movie.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
There's handheld at times, I think, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah,
Um,
it really gets you. It really gets you right away.
yeah.
I think.
Mhm.
Jolene Blaylock, she got to be a little bit out of her normal T'Pol character in this one.
She's a fine actress. I was too hard on her earlier on in the series review. I don't like her episodes generally or her relationship with Trip. Or any
The
of massage
episodes-
stuff.
Yeah, the episodes that surround her generally are ones that I wouldn't say are my favorite, but she is definitely a good actress. Like
Yeah,
I
she is.
have no problem with it. Kevin, what about you?
What?
It's fine.
See, clock.
It's great. She's great.
It's great. She's great. It's
what
fine.
about this opening? How did you feel about the opening?
The opening grabbed me right away, and because it was like 8 seconds of just her screaming.
and her choking Archer too. Don't forget.
He's trying to kill me.
That is how you open an episode, a zombie episode.
Right.
It was like eye catching, and it adds intrigue. But generally, I don't like that convention where they show you a piece of the end and then you have to get there with the plot. Like I generally don't like that.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't generally like those as much, especially if they jump around several times in an episode. That's really
that's even worse.
Irritating.
They only do it once here, but yeah, we come back after like the credits. That we're still in the end of the episode, or when they got back to the ship, and we see that they sedate her. Oh, Jaemeel would beat Jody, says Sam. All right, we'll have to get the Vegas odds. They put her into the chamber, and then we get like this 1 day earlier thing, and then we're pretty much just catching up to where this
28 days earlier.
Yeah, or one. Yeah, and then we get the title of the episode here, Impulse, after a little bit of an additional setup, which is a little bit different.
We get a little bit of NX01 porn here.
Yeah, good looking shot. We come back to the command center, as it's known, and
they spent money on it, Dave.
Yeah, they gave it a name. It's kind of where they look at screens.
It used to be a broom closet. Now it's a command center.
What it is used to be a broom closet, but now what it is?
It's the equivalent of grabbing that refrigerator box and coloring it. It's that type of idea.
Yeah. I also want to point out this episode. It's co-written by Jonathan Fernandez, but another notable name here, Carrie Metalis, who
why do I know that name?
Now a writer on Star Trek Picard.
Okay, that's where I know.
And some other things. Co-wrote the Stargazer, the season 2 opener, and a couple of things with like Akiva Goldsman.
It's a good episode, the Stargazer.
It was a good start. Season
3 coming soon.
Yeah. So, and I think it's this conversation at the beginning here is a lot about how Trip's saying to Archer, like, hey, maybe we should bring back movie night, and maybe like the crew's getting a little burnt out, and Archer's like, we'll rest when we get these Xindi,
and find these Xindi.
Of course, and Trip's like, hey man, I hate the Xindi, but we need some R&R.
By most directingest director in Star Trek history,
David Livingston. Yes. Not to be confused with one of the other Davids, like me.
I love in that scene previous where she's so annoyed that he's like, we're doing movie night.
Yeah.
That's in here, and she just looks at him just so irritated that movie night is back.
She's like, what about our touching each other therapy or whatever it is, the hypnotherapy we do in neural pressure. Neural pressure. Yes, the neural pressure. People are talking.
They are talking.
Yeah. And then
not about neural pressure. That's boring.
Hoshi calls at this point in the episode to Archer. It says, hey, we got a distress call from Vulcans. He immediately looks over at to Paul in particular and said, oh, Vulcans are, why are they here? We see this other guy who's running the con here.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, who is this guy?
Over there. Why are you the only guy on the bridge?
He probably has more lines than Mayweather.
Yeah, I was like, what? They couldn't even get Mayweather to stand in for this scene or to sit in for this scene?
They're like, hey, we're not paying you today, bud.
But he's in the episode. It wasn't like he had something. He was somewhere else.
Yeah, but he hit his 3-line ratio. Like that's all he gets.
Yeah.
Your mic's crackling there, dude.
It's not mine. It's Jody's. He's turning it on and off.
Sorry. There's noise going on in my house right now.
There's noise going on here. Crackling.
Well, sorry.
I just
here. I'll use the software one. How's that?
There you go.
That works.
We don't hear what's on the mic anyway. I don't think. Anyway, so they come in here. I like this shot too. When we see Enterprise approaching from like
Very
overhead.
Cool. Very cool.
To this asteroid belt, which is all acting erratic, like all these here in the Expanse. The
looks like Star Trek Online.
It kind of does.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Only about 20 years earlier.
But Star Trek Online came out
Well,
in like
No, maybe
only
10
No,
years.
not even
5
10.
years after this. Like, actually, as I've been watching like more Deep Space Nine, I'm like, they were setting up this in Star Trek Online, or they were setting this up for Star Trek Online. More in Deep Space Nine, but you see a bunch of stuff. But
Kevin looks so bored right now.
No, I'm good.
He loves this episode.
He's
He
like,
loves it.
You?
Star Trek
He loves Star
Online.
Trek Online.
He just can't wait till we get to the zombies. Get to the zombies, Dave.
I'm trying to get to
Come
this.
on, move to the zombies. Let's go.
Okay. Well, the other thing is too, like they can't get in touch with this Vulcan ship. Its communications are down, so they have to take a shuttle pod.
Oh yeah, because
Again-
Mayweather's in the shuttle.
And he's not. It's Archer. It's like I was
Oh,
like,
that's
what?
right. This shuttle, the other shuttle has Trip and Mayweather in it.
It must be like
later
it
on,
must be
yeah.
his off day for he must be his Saturday. Yeah, and then he goes, "Hey, you ever heard of this ship, T'Pol?" She goes, "Yeah, actually, I served on it for a bunch of years. This is like my old ship." I'm like, "Oh, isn't that quaint?"
Shouldn't he know that?
Yeah, don't you think she would have mentioned that when she was talking about it disappearing into the expanse?
Well,
Vulcans
not only
don't
that,
offer
but like
information
we
like
saw
that.
Archer when the mission first started. Like he knew everything about everybody because he was reading up on everybody. So like he kind of knew everybody. So it's like, why wouldn't he know that?
He doesn't know.
Also,
her,
these
though.
fucking Vulcans and their secrecy. I mean,
Oh, maybe
we got her not saying things. We got Spock being related to everyone and never saying anything.
true.
He's got his human side and his Vulcan side. You know,
And he's got siblings that we didn't know about either.
yeah, at least two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One shows up in like the 5th movie. All of a sudden he's got one.
Give me your pain. Yeah, so he's
Will
just
be
God,
strengthened by
just start.
the sharing.
by the sharing. Yeah, but so I was like, well, yeah, you think this would be a good mission? Like, let's throw Mayweather in here. Like, he can pilot the shuttles for the asteroids. No, Archer's going to do it.
Not enough seats. Got to have a seat for the Mako, and then you got to have enough seats for all of his stuff he's
We
bringing.
see, like, sometimes in these shuttle pods, they'll like fit in like 15 people, and other times they're like, we only got room for 2. It's like,
Well, I think they officially seat 5.
yeah, I don't know. It seems
This
like
is where they
remember.
start. This is where they start using the Makos all the time. Pretty much every episode after
Yeah.
this. Pretty much.
it's always a different Mako too. It's like check out this Mako, check out that
Well,
Mako.
you don't want you don't
Separate
want
names.
to
We get
tire.
all the Makos, but none of the crew.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. We don't know who is that guy in on the bridge. We don't know him.
I
Yeah.
don't need to know him. All we know
But
is he's
I
better
need
than
to know who
Mayweather.
this corporal guy is. He's important.
That's
gets a name?
Hawkins.
I'm not sure which regular Enterprise crew they're gonna kill yet. Like as far as the background people go, so they don't want to introduce too many.
Well, the minute I saw this Mako, I'm like, I can't remember. Does he die?
I have a good feeling he will. Just based on us getting to know him here. And yeah, they're flying through this asteroid belt, and they're like, oh yeah, like, he's kind of like just watching this big, huge rock go by the window here as they're flying through. Because the Makos are not astronauts, they're not space people.
No.
So they're always getting kind of used to this. And then we get this whole thing where, yeah, like I guess this is what Mayweather needed to do: not fly, beam asteroids in. This is what Mayweather is given instead. Because that's I'm not even-
transporter chief.
Because he's so good at that
yeah,
he makes the transporter
blow up.
inoperable.
Yeah. Yeah. So they beam over some Trellium D and like he picks up this rock here. Yeah, he's like, hey, why don't you lock onto this next? You know, he's like, you got it, sir. He's like, I don't know why you just don't call one of your engineer guys here to help do this, but
Or, maybe just work the 3 levers yourself.
since you're the engineer.
It couldn't be that hard to figure out.
Yeah, but it goes a little haywired here with the thing. It blows
And
up.
again, you have the chief engineer standing here, and you have a guy who is essentially just the pilot, and he's the one fixing the panel.
Yeah, he's trying to fix it.
Makes no
Blows
sense.
up, and then we see like there's like this transporter malfunction.
Little
that
bit of
results
warpy going
in-
on there.
The Trillium D gets all split up, and it kind of materializes all weird on the outside of the casing.
Anybody get the vibes of the Pegasus in this episode from that?
The Pegasus. Oh yeah, I get It's like
Yeah,
with
you know,
with the
where
face.
all of a sudden,
yeah.
like all these rocks are like part of the walls.
Right. Yeah, it was a little bit. I was like, this seems like this would cause a major malfunction.
Trip's
then-
like, Riker's going to be pissed off in 100 years if we don't get rid of these rocks.
200.
200,
Yeah,
point.
and so he's like, well, we better get a cleanup. His final line here is, well, the maintenance crew's not going to believe this, so he's just going to call some other people to come.
Yeah,
clean
he
this up.
sees the chief engineer. And he's like, well, we fucked up. Let's go get somebody else.
Well, I guess we made a mess. All right, let's get out of here. You know, we got people for that. So they can't just beam it in. So they head over here, and then we see the Saleya, but it is looking pretty beat up. So what's told to us there, this was the first ship to go into the Expanse, and then the ship that we saw in like that Event Horizon flashback back in season 2, that was the ship. Another ship that was sent to look for this ship, but I guess never found it. So, and so this is the original.
Yeah, we heard about this ship, but we never saw it until now.
So second ship didn't get very far because they got crippled by the anomalies.
Yes, but it seems like they got a little further, but then they happen to go into this asteroid belt full of Trillium D, which just happens to be toxic to Vulcans specifically. So, so they have a look here, and
it's usually Vulcans are the ones immune to everything.
Yeah, except for this one. You know, and humans were immune, at least, because it was breaking down synaptic,
immune to
whatever.
Roombas, apparently. Can't clean anything.
Yeah, like so.
Over there.
These Vulcans have been potentially marooned here for what, months? Like a year? Like how long has this been going on?
I don't think we get the specifics, but I would think it would be around a year probably.
It's at least months before they came into the Expanse, right? And so so it's been a while. These Vulcans have been theoretically adrift here in this asteroid belt, and it's minimal life support. This episode is like the darkest episode. My big critique of this episode is how dark it is, how hard it is to see things. I was taking screenshots whenever there was like a little flicker of light, just so we could see things.
But that gets back to my original point when how they shot this episode. Like it was shot like with the idea of basically being kind of like Alien, right?
Yeah, it's
like
a horror episode.
Yeah, like it's I don't know when this aired exactly, but I would imagine it was probably in October. But the October 8th. It's got the exact same vibes as like the first Alien movie, right? Like the first Alien.
Which I'm also not a fan of, but
you're wrong. Anyway,
I know.
I'm not either.
And Jody, you're welcome to hold up here on Wednesday.
Alien is a classic, but anyway, that's fine.
I'm not a fan of that.
Each is our own. You can not like something; it's fine.
Yeah, we see the Trillium D here that they were starting to put onto the bulkhead. I guess it's got a bluish color to it, but they didn't get too far.
They were splooging all over the place.
They were looking around here.
Look at that Makos. He's badass.
Yeah, they split up here, so it's Reed and the Mako, and then T'Pol and Archer go another way here.
Well, they had to go with Reed and the Mako because Reed's got to feel important somehow.
Yeah, I was like, because they both have rifles. I was like,
look at that shot. That's a cool shot.
You can't barely see them.
That's the whole point.
You want to watch guys.
It's supposed to represent despair. That's the whole point. They are in a very bad environment.
He's enveloped in shadow, both psychologically and physically.
Now, even that like shadow looks kind of fearsome there. If you go back,
but then we get our first like assailant here. This is the first Vulcan zombie that pops out. He's not really a zombie, everybody. He's just
he might as well be.
He's totally a zombie. What's
these are
zombie
zombies
about him? These are 100% zombies.
Except
they really hungover Romulans, one of the two.
They just try to kill you. They're more like rage zombies. They're like closer to 28 days later type zombies, if they were Vulcans.
It's guaranteed one of the writers had just seen that.
What year? That movie's around this time, right? Like,
oh yeah.
The first one, 28 days.
Yeah,
28 days. Yeah, I can't
later,
remember when it came out.
28 weeks later. They're around this time. Yeah, and it was coming out. They just, they phaser them a couple times. There's some fighting here.
I like how you see the slow decline of T'Pol though. Like she even shows it as like the fighting's going on. You can see like she's starting to get a little weird in the head.
Right.
Like I just liked how they portrayed that. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah. It's good. It's all right. Like I feel like this whole stuff, like this horror stuff on the ship, I think goes on too long for me because I don't find these Vulcans that scary, really. I just find them.
Interesting. It's kind of generic. It's
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very
Yeah.
generic.
Still good though.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
Every Star Trek has had an episode like this though. Like
Yeah.
it's
No,
Zombie
zombies have
apocalypse.
never been done before this point.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin.
the Borg
no,
are
they've
basically
had
zombies.
yeah, the Borg are essentially zombies.
No.
They're interesting.
No.
The Borg are interesting.
Yeah,
Well, so are zombies.
They're more like cyborgs.
Well, yes, but it's
obviously.
effectively the same kind of a trope, like this was except in this case, like the human characters aren't going to turn into these zombies, like only T'Pol is. So it's got a little bit of that kind of thing. It's almost like being bit by a vampire, almost kind of a story.
Now you may ask yourself, has Star Trek ever done vampires? And I will have to tell you, tune into very soon to Star Trek Radio
Oh,
Theater
yes, I got that
and
too.
find out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nerds.
Watch out for Dracula on the Cerritos.
I like it.
I was already practicing. I was already reading it in character. Okay.
Oh,
And yeah, so they phaser more of these Vulcan zombies.
Well, what else are you gonna do with them, Dave?
Nothing. He calls
Might
out.
as
He
well
goes, "Hey,
phaser 'em.
hey, Reed, have you ran into anybody yet?" He goes, "Oh no, not yet." And then just then he gets like attacked by these. They get attacked by these two more Vulcans. Who they just shoot? Yeah,
They're all
Reed's,
thinking to themselves, we should have brought Mayweather. He would have been
Reed's
good
rocking the Mako rifle in this one, not
Yeah, I don't like that rifle as
not the
much.
Starfleet rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, these Vulcans, we see one of them using a phaser at one point, but most
Never
of them
bring a pole to a phaser fight, gentlemen.
most of them are just using pipes and tools to like try to swing at the humans. And Vulcans are still 3 times faster and stronger than us, right? Just or
Oh, yeah.
But are
Yes.
zombie ones like that?
they don't seem to be. They seem to be 3 times weaker and slower than us.
Well, they're dying inside, Dave.
Yeah,
They're very scary.
dying.
Hence, they're not that threatening.
No.
Well, when there's a lot of them, there is. It's still a threat.
Kind of like
Really?
they kind of solve this by like making a little bridge, going to the other side of the bridge, and then pulling the bridge back. Like
Hey, you
the
gotta do
plank,
what you gotta do, gentlemen.
like that's how they defeat this nefarious.
You're not gonna
enemy.
make me hate this episode, Dave.
I'm not trying to make you hate it,
All
but
right.
I'm just saying
am.
that it's very dark.
Yes, it is.
These antagonists are not necessarily all that threatening. They're more to be like sympathized with. They're sick people, and is this where? Yeah, like I think like the I don't know. They're just they're. I like this shot here.
See,
This is
Dave's
great.
hating this episode more and more going through it. He's just like,
Yeah.
oh no, this is just not good.
Well, it doesn't make for a good podcast because there's not a ton to talk
There's
about.
not a lot to talk about. It's
No,
a
because
lot of this for like
Empty.
30 minutes.
That's what disappoints me. Like what happened to the Saleya should have been interesting.
Yeah,
But it's not.
Well,
not-
it's supposed to be more of a mystery. I
and
think.
it's like, oh well, all these Vulcans are too far gone. Don't even try to save them.
Just shoot them all.
That's the only interesting when they spoilers for this. Actually, I won't even spoil the series because some of you guys haven't seen this shit. But it does come back.
Yes.
This comes back later.
This
This
comes
does come
back?
later. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because this is here we're at the part of the episode where the Mako puts his weapon onto kill setting, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, the
He's
stun
like, I'm a
setting's not
Mako. It's
working.
what I do.
We might have to kill her." She's like, "Hey, this is a rescue mission," and Archer backs her up here. I was like, "Yeah, like we're not going to kill these people."
No,
Well,
kill them. They're done. They're far gone. No point.
And we see the anger out of her, like that
Yeah.
she was losing it.
Right. It's interesting that like Archer doesn't really pick up on this sooner, but on the other hand, Archer himself is kind of in PTSD mode at this point, and he's going to ride that throughout most of the season.
It's not spending a lot of time thinking in the zombie apocalypse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not really considering the feelings of other people as much, or worrying about those things. He's like, we got a job to do and we'll figure it out later. Is mostly what Archer is doing. Oh, I gotta love this shot where we can't see anybody and it's all dark.
Oh my
And then-
God, Dave! Not everything can be shot in a Marriott conference room. Jesus.
That's
What is this,
amazing.
TNG?
I love
Yeah.
that line. That's incredible. Marriott.
I'm very
Amazing. Well done, Kevin.
Yep.
It's
It's
not
just
as
like,
bad
I don't know
as
what to say now.
It's not as bad as that O'Brien episode. It's still brighter than that. You know what I'm talking
Joe
about.
Bryan episode's great, and
It's
you guys
not
are
though.
wrong.
I kept all the screenshots where there was like a little glimmer of light, but most of them are just like they're so dark
This
and
is
shadowy.
a horror episode. It's supposed to be dark.
Yeah, but horror episodes are supposed to be scary.
Well, this isn't very scary.
Yeah, it's dark but not scary. That's kind of my thing. And this is the only like zombie Vulcan we see with a weapon. He uses like some kind of a.
He's not far gone enough that he doesn't know how to use a phaser still.
Yeah,
And
what is
here's a
this?
fail. Like, it should have been hard to make rampaging Vulcans threatening. Like, they actually had to work hard to make them not threatening.
Yeah. The other thing I got a criticism here is this uniform. This is a bad uniform, like these Vulcans are rocking. It's like some kind of like.
No, they changed into that after they turned into zombies.
Oh, that's the zombie uniform.
Yeah, zombies aren't up on the latest fashions.
All right.
No.
They just grab anything that they can find.
Yeah, like whatever this plasma weapon I guess he's using here, but they don't seem to be able to aim it too well. Like the one who can use it.
Well, I'm sure he has eye degeneration at this point. His vision is probably pretty shitty.
Yeah,
Like-
another reason he's not threatening. Yeah, they just keep phasering him. You know, the Borg are so much better use of the zombie trope than this. I think that's all. You know, this is mostly like, what if a bunch of sick Vulcans were going to come at you ominously and maybe swing a pipe at you in the dark? Pretty
I
scary.
didn't think you were gonna have this much of a problem with this episode, Dave.
Me either.
Good.
Well, it is very dark.
It
I'm
is
waiting
dark.
for shipment.
Yeah, Davan told me I have to wait 2 episodes for this to get going.
Yeah.
2 more episodes. I'm like, where's the Xindi Council of Doom? Where's the whole storyline with that? But we gotta wait.
They're also waiting for the shipment.
They're also waiting for the shipment. Is this where they call over? They get into this room. Help me out, guys. What's going on? They're trying to figure out how to get to our different.
Well, they're trying to figure out how to get to where the shuttle pods are, right?
right,
So-
and we see T'Pol starting
She's losing it, which is
she's
great.
losing it.
I think she
Yeah.
does a great job portraying that.
Oh yeah, no, I think Jolene Blaylock is solid in this. No complaints there.
Even Archer isn't really that annoying in this episode. I
Yeah,
think.
actually, none of the acting is bad. But
Well,
as I was,
I think the
No,
zombie
it's
the
not.
zombie Vulcan acting could be a little bit better, but
well, I don't know. If you were the director, what would you
They're
tell?
just
How?
bad across the board, those zombies.
Yeah, and I think I'm also looking at through the lens that Terry Matalas wrote this, and he is not my favorite Star Trek writer. So I think that's also part of it.
This is a part that I did not need.
no.
I think you make this episode better by taking all of them to the ship, these two as well, and Hoshi is in command of the Enterprise and has to figure something out.
Yes.
Then at least she gets lines and some development. One of them might die.
And we need to not praise Mayweather for crashing on a fucking asteroid.
Yeah,
Why are
Yeah,
we
they-
praising him for this?
it was a
He
difficult
set her down
landing.
nice, set her down gently. Yeah.
This whole, like-
There's zombies. Why are they over here?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they land on an asteroid to get some Trillium D. This will then turn into a thing later on. But yeah, the whole B plot with Tucker and
Didn't need it.
Mayweather, I didn't need
Useless.
it either.
Totally
Although,
useless.
if they hadn't been in it, like, yeah, you could. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Put them on the ship and then leave like Hoshi and Phlox to command the Enterprise,
Yeah.
or something. That would be fun.
Like you've
Fox
got
in command.
Phlox
There you go.
trying to figure out what's going on with the
I think the key
zombies.
takeaway
and
here is we need more
Hoshi in
Hoshi.
charge.
We
We
just
also
need
never
more-
get to Phlox. Phlox is like the last on the totem pole.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
the entire ship, probably.
Everybody would have to be pretty close to death.
but if it
Yeah.
was only if Hoshi or even Mayweather was in command and the only person to talk to was Phlox, that could be.
It's like on Next Gen when Troy takes over. Has Troy ever successfully not crashed the ship?
Yes. In her
she won,
TNG
right?
episode where she
Jordy
takes
to his
over.
death, and then they gave her a commander pip, like if you recall.
True. Yes, that's true.
I would totally kill you, holographic Jordy.
Troy didn't slip there.
This
slipped
episode
there,
might have been made better too if T'Pol had lost her shit earlier, and then
Yes.
they had to fight T'Pol.
They had to fend off her as well.
If she like joined the herd,
Yes.
or
Yeah,
she
that-
commands the herd.
she commands them.
She takes over it.
Where were we in the writers' room? We could like come up. It would be much better because instead they find this Vulcan chief engineer guy who
And-
she knows.
And Hoshi knows everything on
yeah,
their tactics. So they have to find new ways to fight the zombie horde. There you
And
go.
the only time that this really gets interesting, like one of the only times, is when like we see how scared T'Pol is of turning into this, and losing.
What was
she's
there?
like,
8 Vulcans on this ship? Like there's like 8 zombies in this. Like holy
There's-
147.
147.
shit.
it's a lot.
But we only saw the ones that were trapped in areas where they went.
I guess
That
so.
was the original crew complement was 147. We see that a lot of the ship's been blown up and destroyed. So it's pretty.
I imagine there was a lot of zombie on zombie violence as well.
Indeed.
I would imagine.
as well as other things.
Yeah. And I think this is where
Wow, chicka, wow, wow.
T'Pol is like, I think in the Mako, they sort of reconcile that disagreement they have earlier. Where he's like, "You're right. This is a rescue mission. Good call, ma'am."
He's
They
like,
didn't need that.
let me
either.
rescue their heads with my phaser fire.
Yeah, I think, and then she's like, he's like, "Why would these Vulcans without emotions want to kill us?" And she's like, "Vulcans do have emotions, you dope."
They suppress them, asshole.
Again, like a character we've never met before. We better see this guy again, or this is completely pointless.
I don't think we do.
I don't know if we do. I'll find that out. I'm on it.
Okay, get on there, and then
I'm on
is this where Archer's getting attacked by these zombies?
These unthreatening Vulcan
These
zombies.
unthreatening-
2 Vulcan zombies should have been able to tear Archer in half there.
Yeah, like I'm like, if they're that strong and they're that homicidal, and they're because we're supposed to believe that their emotions have been their emotional suppression's been compromised, so they should be like completely feral, right?
They don't have all of their they're also dying, Dave. They are also dying.
Fair point.
That's what Flock
I'm not
said.
scared of them.
They are
I'm not
all
scared.
going to die.
Yes, we do see him again.
All right.
Okay, good.
He actually shows up for another episode where he hangs out with T'Pol and they enter one of the Expanse's spheres, which
There
I
you go.
can't remember the name of the episode.
One of the
The
spheres. Okay.
sphere.
They got the Trillium D packed up here, Trip and Mayweather, and just then.
Oh
she
no,
says-
that episode already happened. That was Anomaly.
Oh, so he's
That
only
was
in
the
these
second
2
episode
episodes.
of the season. This is the
He's
second
done.
episode he's been in.
Okay. All right. And then they have to get out of there in a hurry, like Trip and Mayweather from the spinning asteroid. And he gets away.
Look
just-
out!
Look out!
Oh no, he shows up in the shipment as well, Davan.
Oh, does he? That's
Yes,
a good
he's in
one.
shipment as well. Anyway, sorry.
Don't worry. It was just Tripp and Mayweather escaping a space rock.
Ah, it's fine.
They were running away from the space rock and they got
There's
away
poor
from the space
Hoshi.
rock.
Always on bridge duty.
Always, yeah. She's kind of in
When-
the.
Never an away mission.
Why didn't they
Probably.
give her anything to do? Like,
Oh, what she got to do?
relaying
They're parked in the middle of an
messages.
asteroid field.
Yeah.
I don't know. They never give her anything to do. Instead, they give us Mako's.
Oh, they gave her stuff to do next episode. Don't worry.
Yes, next episode she's quite busy.
All right.
It's not good.
All right. I'm just going through the screenshots, guys. What else is there to say?
Yeah, it's that, well, and that's what Kevin said earlier, right? It's an episode where there doesn't need to be a lot of discussion. Like there's not a lot of key points. It's just a lot of the same thing. And every
My
so often
opening
Mayweather
point for the episode was going to be, "Are we done here?"
Well, I don't know if I have a lot else more to say. There's a scene here where she's getting Reed to like realign something here to Paul, that is, and like it blows up in her face, and then she like loses it on Reed. I enjoyed this. She's like, he's an idiot. He can't even make these things go.
Sam wants one of us to name a Hoshi episode that is good.
Yeah, there were ones in like the first and second season that were good.
Were
I
they?
can't think of them off the top of my head.
Well, the vacation one
mean,
sucks.
If you want to see badass Hoshi in a mirror darkly,
Oh yeah,
Uh,
she's awesome in that episode.
Fight or Flight is her episode 3 of the first season. Was her episode. It's
Fight
not
or Flight.
terrible.
That's not horrible.
That's where the stars are going the wrong way or whatever.
Yeah,
Sluggo.
Sluggo.
good old Sluggo.
Good old Sluggo. Yeah.
Sluggo never makes another appearance, I don't think.
But we see the paranoia. Like, how paranoid can you play this Jolene Blaylock? Oh, I can play paranoid. Don't you worry. And she does.
and
Look at her holding that phaser though. She's got like tears in her eyes, and she's like, "I'm gonna kill you all."
Yeah, and Archer's
the
like,
best thing about this episode is her.
Oh, for
yes,
sure.
Oh yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
It's totally a T'Pol episode.
And they could have done more with her. I like the idea of her joining them and taking control of the zombie horde. That would have been incredible.
I'm telling you, I should be
Yeah,
writing
I'm
for
there
Star
for
Trek.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and using her knowledge, and then like taking the fight to Enterprise. Like, this could have been an amazing episode.
And then Hoshi has to.
And then Hoshi has to duke it
the
out with her.
ship.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
Instead, they kind of email over the medical data to Phlox and Trip, and Phlox kind of figures out how to cure
Yeah.
this.
This is one thing about this show that I don't like. They tend to yada yada over all of Phlox's stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, here, work on this while we go do this other stuff, and then when they come back, it's all fixed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Phlox never has to figure anything.
He never
out.
has like an
Well,
Well, he
amazing
does
medical
have that
challenge.
episode where he had to figure out, why the whole one part of the race was dying.
Okay, well,
He
one
has good
episode.
episodes. He just doesn't have big medical revelations.
and
No.
and
He
his
is great.
usefulness in the story is either like just kind of yada yada, like Kevin said, or it's just kind of like he saved the day or whatever. It was not.
Because
there's
he
just-
worked one day a week too. They brought him in. They just fired off all his lines, and he went home, man.
right compared to the other Star Treks that I think use their Doctor in a more integrated way, especially like original series, but like even like Voyager and Deep Space, like they use their Doctor way more. Maybe not Crusher as much.
I guess he's the only one that's not Starfleet.
Crusher
so
was
you
used
don't
later
get him in the Starfleet
series.
scenes.
Crusher, if it was like her episode,
When she
She would-
returned,
Right.
like in season 3, she started getting more and more stuff to do.
But-
But first
but-
season, she barely was in it.
But I find when it's not a Phlox episode, but he's responsible for figuring something out,
Yeah,
they
it's
don't
like
take us
2
through
seconds.
that process.
yeah,
they
it's like 2
just
seconds and done.
Send him away on his own.
Yeah,
and
then he comes back with the solution.
Yeah.
Phlox having sex with the candle is a better episode than Bentley doing.
I would totally watch an episode of Phlox.
yeah,
Phlox
Phlox
banging a
and
ghost.
and Ronan. Floxy.
I like that
Could
episode.
be
too,
Ronan.
so
That's
I'm-
fine.
yeah.
Sub Rosa is the worst episode ever.
No, it's the
one of
best
them.
bad
One of
episode.
them.
It's garbage. Hot.
There's so much
I love
worse.
it.
I would rather watch
So
Sub Rosa
weird.
than this. Any day.
Nope. I'd watch this.
You'd rather watch
episode
I
this?
know, Dave. I
any
might be
day.
there with you. I think I'd rather watch Sabrosa as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys are.
It's a
You
classic.
know what the problem is? The whole Mater clan has something up in their heads that are wrong.
Yeah, we're a little. Well, Davin's related to my mother's
That
side.
is
but-
true. No, he's on the something.
Devin's like, I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, since he's not a mater. He's
Well,
born.
you know that whole family
Mm.
dynamic there is just
Yeah.
there's something there.
House Savoy. You besmirch
House
House
Savoy.
Savoy. Punch.
When we take over the royal family of
Blood
Italy,
revenge.
which is defunct.
Oh,
But
fuck's
if it
sakes.
comes back, we're in line. All right, where were we, guys?
Who knows?
Who knows? What else is there to do here? These hands.
much.
See a bunch
Bring
of
it.
hands.
You gotta square the
This was
circle. Bring
cool.
it back to where she's screaming. That's where the
Blowing up
episode
the
started.
ship. They're trying to get off the ship before it blows up. Vulcans are dying. They're
There's they
Archer.
have in the last few episodes. I mean, I don't think the last episode, but have done a lot of Archer manhandling
Yeah.
to Paul.
yeah, he just
Yes,
carries around like a rag doll.
But in that one where they change into the other species too,
Ugh,
like
that's a terrible episode. Anyway,
no, I
Yeah.
like that too.
did
Yeah.
you like that one? Oh.
Yes, I like a lot of these kind of one-off.
This
weird
this
ones.
whole concept of this podcast has gone completely 360 because we were like, Kevin's gonna hate this. Kevin's gonna hate this all the time, and now
And
it's
I
like we
did at
hate it.
first.
We hate it, but Kevin doesn't. So weird.
Yeah, well, he just shoots T'Pol here when she goes finally like really out of control. Yeah, he just throws her over the shoulder, and he's like, "Look, I made this little balance beam bridge."
Surprised he
with
didn't like caveman
You
handle
can't
her or
walk.
something.
On
Yeah.
the catwalk,
buck
carrying to Paul on the catwalk.
Yeah. And like this is literally how they defeat the zombies. He's like, I'll just go to the other side of this plank while Reed and the Mako shoot up all these zombies, and then they take
Well,
the little
Mako
bounce
probably shoots stuff.
beam across. This Vulcan tries to follow, but guess what? You're not going to. And then, yeah, they all just like start falling like lemmings off the little side of the cliff. As they're trying to get these
They're
guys.
zombies, Dave.
Oh my gosh! All right,
Yeah, lemmings aren't threatening either.
yeah. Here's the zombie horde, guys.
Dave, you ever seen a zombie movie you liked?
Yeah, I love zombie movies
Like what?
when they eat people and they're scary.
You can tell you some zombie movies I love. The original Night of the Living Dead,
Very good.
the original Dawn of the Dead,
Very
Yeah.
good.
Return of the Living Dead, which has nothing to do with those other.
Yeah.
That's a
dead
great
movies.
movie.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
like
a
that one
great
much.
movie.
I like the Night of the Living Dead remake with Patricia.
What about
Tallman.
zombie Nazis in the center of the earth?
I haven't seen that one.
Amazing.
What about zombies on a plane?
Haven't seen.
Oh, like I've seen that.
It's not good.
I'm sick of these zombies on this motherfucking plane.
Sick of these zombies on this motherfucking Selena.
It was a big plane. But yeah, it didn't lead up to it. And yeah, and then Tripp and Mayweather show up like they're the cavalry that shows up here and helps them escape.
Yeah.
And then the slab blows up.
No, it's such a pretty ship.
Yeah.
They got
And
millions.
like
of them, and
honestly,
they all look the
so
same.
much better than Enterprise. Like
I
that
think they-
ship was so much better than an NX-01. They should
They
have
looks
did
cool.
transferred everyone over there.
They did miss an opportunity here when the ship blows up to have zombies just flying out.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
That would have been.
Like with the Borgs that are like floating
Right.
through space and shit. Yeah.
Right. They
Same
missed an
idea.
opportunity. I was really like, oh, this episode was so good, but they.
But
fucked
Davin,
that
we
up.
did get this ship again. We just got it in a different series, and it's called the Orville, and it's a different color now. That's all.
No thanks.
Kevin is an Enterprise super fan.
I don't think I'd go that far.
Jody, is Simon Earth worse than Sub Rosa?
I don't know why he has to keep bringing this up. Assignment Earth is literally one of the worst episodes of Star Trek, but I would still watch it over Sub Rosa.
Okay.
Both great episodes.
I would rather watch Sub Rosa than Assignment Earth. Okay, here we go. Final mission here. Oh yeah, here where they got the rocks, the box of rocks with the Trillium D, and Archer says, "Put it into biohazard." it's not safe for T'Pol. This is no good for T'Pol. I'm like, I feel like there's a way you guys could not expose her to this stuff. And
I was
still
thinking
get
that too, some sort of shielding, but maybe they don't have the resources with them there. I don't know.
They
Yeah,
don't even have shields around their ship.
like for instance, I think antimatter is toxic if you try to eat it, but if it's in a containment unit, it would be okay.
But doesn't this Trellium D have to be like on everything? Like all
It has
the
to. They have to put it on the hull of the
beds
ship.
and-
They have
It
to
has
put it
to
on.
be
Line the
surrounding
hull,
them,
yeah.
yeah.
But why can't they put it on the outside where T'Pol is not going to be?
Well, it's harder to do work out
Yeah.
Yeah, people are always getting stuck to the ship,
Yeah, they get stuck to the ship by mines and shit.
peeing all over it.
there.
What they should do is they should just send out Reed.
That's a
They're
great
like,
episode.
Hey, Reed, go
That
paint the
episode
hall.
sucks.
Can we
You
talk about
guys
this
suck.
this ending though? This ending where it's like the fake out where T'Pol is woken up and then she thinks she's. I guess that this is real, right? This scene here is real, or is this the dream?
We
It's
don't
like there's-
know.
No, the dream's later.
Yeah, I think this
Right.
is real.
There's this right where he's like, I can't use the Trillium D, and then we go to movie night, which is not real. This
This
is
is
a
a
dream.
dream.
This is the dream, right? And I really love this. I thought John Billingsley was hilarious, where he's like, "No, he's too tall." Even like the forensics of the day. And this is like my favorite part of the episode.
I kind
where-
of wish
Mine
I
too.
didn't know what they were doing here. I was kind of hoping that because he mentions earlier in the episode they're going to watch a comedy. So I thought they were going to do here because she's not fully back to the way she normally is. I thought she was going to laugh
right.
Yeah.
at a joke.
That would have been neat.
That's a better
Yeah.
ending. You're right.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
this episode's not good. That would have happened in a good episode.
Yeah, but like she's like, I like Connor Trenier here with this. Like, did she just
Yeah,
tell
the-
us to shush? He's hilarious here. In
The
this
look
reaction.
on his face.
What?
What? Did she just tell us? Yeah, and so then there's like this whole thing. The lights go out, tactical alert, and then she's walking along, and there's like these shoom things, coming by, and we don't know what's going on. Gets into the turbo lift, and guess what, guys? It's a scary Vulcan.
Oh, scary zombie that she can't.
She's got
easily
PTSD,
overpower.
guys. Like, come on.
But she really, like, if she used logic, she would come to the conclusion that these zombies are the least threatening zombies that have in the history of zombies. And
She's not yet ready to use her logic, Dave.
Yeah,
she'll be okay. She'll be okay. I'm just saying. Yeah. So we
maybe
see
she
that
just needs better lighting.
maybe turn on the lights. And,
Turn on the
okay.
lights; they won't look so scary.
Yeah. And then she wakes up here, and she's like, I guess she's haunted forever, or at least until her
At
ability
least
to control
until
her
the next
emotions.
time we see them.
Yeah.
So.
And Phlox kind of comforts her here in the sick bay. So there was no movie night that she went to. Clearly,
No
that was-
movie. That's sad. That was the best part of the episode.
She likes popcorn, doesn't she?
It wasn't even real.
It wasn't even real. And then that's it. So that's the screenshots. Interesting way they end the episode. I don't feel like I really got that jump scare feel though, because I wasn't
No.
scared in the first place.
I don't think they
As
were going
usual,
for a
they
jump
fucked
scare,
up the
though.
end.
Yeah.
Pretty common for Enterprise.
Okay, who's got fun facts
Well,
tonight?
Well, that brings us to everybody's favorite segment,
Oh,
Juicy
Juicy
Nuggets.
Nuggets with Jody.
Juicy. All
No?
right.
How about Jack Points with Jody?
Yeah,
I like
the
juicy
one
I
better.
like the juicy. Give me the juice.
How about into
The
the
Jody's
Jody's
tube.
tube?
That's the wrong spelling of Jody, but anyway.
Oh yeah. How about Seeking Jody Haran?
That was not bad.
Let's do
How
that
many of
one.
these do you have?
That was the last one.
All right, go back to the nugget one. Juicy nuggets. Yeah, I like that one.
You
That
don't want
might
to
have
seek
be the
Jody
new-
Haran?
No, I'm
With
back
your
on this
juicy
now.
nuggets.
With my juicy nuggets.
Ooh.
man.
Oh my.
All right. Anyway, enough of the nugget talk. According to the text commentary on the DVD collection and the audio commentary by David Livingston, this episode contains the shortest teaser in Star Trek history, clocking in at just 18 seconds, which is good considering most of the teasers are pretty crappy in this show, or they mean nothing compared to the actual episode.
Yeah,
The
do you want,
last ones are good.
The teaser is awesome, and then I feel like one of the mistakes was that they add like the extension to that scene after the credits, where it's like it's still Archer and Phlox and T'Pol's on the table. And
Yeah,
then it's
they
one
should
day
have just
earlier.
automatically started with the day earlier.
Just go one day earlier. We didn't need
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Leave it a little bit more of a mystery, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Due to a large number of stunts in action scenes, the Vulcan crew members were played by stunt performers instead of actors.
That's why they're not scary.
All right. Only 7 stunt performers were enrolled. Heavily makeup was used, and to create the illusion that there were dozens of different Vulcans aboard the Selena.
That's like that scene in Dogma where like Kevin Smith hired all these stuntmen. You know that scene, the scene with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck when they're in the boardroom talking to all the movies guys.
Oh yes, yes.
And there was going to be like this crazy John Woo style action scene, and then Kevin Smith chickened out and didn't do it, and so he has all these stuntmen just around the boardroom
and they're all
table.
like they clearly aren't good actors.
They're like, yeah, we want you to act.
The Selena was named after Mount Selena on Vulcan. This is
Saleya.
or will be.
That's
What? Oh, Saleya, sorry. This is or will be, from the show's timeline perspective, also the place where Spock's Katra soul is returned to his body in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. So there we go. We kind of already knew that, though. Like anybody who has ever watched a Star Trek episode would probably clue into that one. But anyway, though not named on screen, the Vulcan crew members of the Selena, is it Selena? Saleya. See, I'm always terrible with pronunciation. Were called Vulcan zombies behind the scenes by the production staff and performers. So there you go.
No shit.
Obviously.
I wonder where they got that from. I mean,
Weird. I don't know how they could have got to that conclusion.
That was the least juicy nugget I've ever tasted.
28 days later, it was 2002.
The greenish
weeks later,
yeah,
was 2007. So that hadn't come out yet, but 28 days later had.
28 days later was already out, yeah. The greenish Vulcan circuits held by T'Pol and Reed were made out of old CD storage racks. So there you go.
Is that why Malcolm completely screwed them when she was trying to get him to fix the CD racks, and then she got the electric shock?
Yes,
she was all chewing them out.
It was just CDs. It was actually Napster, and they were trying to like zap them. In the back of the transporter console, a TNG style circuit board can be found, a leftover from the previously used in Star Trek Voyager. So that
I think I have a shot of that.
Yeah, you probably do.
Where...
Have a look for it. All right. The small crawlway tube used by Archer and Reed was originally built for the USS Enterprise E set in Star Trek First Contact. So they just reused the set.
Yeah, there it is with Mayweather looking at it.
Yeah, that's very TNG for sure.
Voyager.
And Voyager.
And Voyager, obviously. Yeah. Well, they pretty much are the exact same time frame. So yeah, that would make sense. All right. The events of this episode were later covered in Star Trek Enterprise Home from 2004, when Archer is sitting before a hearing which includes Vulcan Ambassador Serval. So this gets mentioned later on.
Gary Graham from Alien Nation?
Indeed. The very same. Shortly after this episode, a joystick was added to the main control of the shuttle pod interior set. Unfortunately, it was only rarely seen on screen. So there you go. Apparently, they upgraded to a joystick. Yes, right after this. So but I guess that just kind of gives Mayweather something more to do in the shuttle when he's just flying it around.
Because remember, like in Nemesis, which would have been, or no, was it Nemesis or was it? No, it's Insurrection. In Insurrection, which
Insurrection, when Picard's following him, right?
Yeah, when Riker gets that joystick. I remember when that came out on the bridge in that movie, and you're like,
what?
Where did this come from?
Yeah. Why didn't you always have joysticks if you had, or I don't.
A prop petroleum rock from this episode was also sold off on eBay. So there you go. You could have. You guys missed it. You could have bought that rock.
You could have bought a fake space
could have
rock.
bought
You would have only needed $18.
Exactly. Well,
and you wouldn't have been Trellian D deficient.
Well, that's true. You would have been fine. Several pieces of the Vulcan computer consoles and the Vulcan pad seen aboard this Selena. Anyway,
Saleya. Get rid of that end. There's none in the entire word,
true.
Jody.
That's true. There is no end there. I might have partaken in things. Were later sold off in an online auction as well. So there you go. Apparently, a lot of things from this show get sold off in auctions.
Oh yeah,
Have you
they
noticed
cleared
that?
house in this big auction. Like
Yeah, like they just sell everything.
Well, because this
Uh,
show was the end, right? Like
this is the end
of
of like
this
from
era.
next gen till this. Like they
Yeah.
were using the same production team for a long time.
And of course, just to round it off, this episode did have a 47 reference, as a lot of episodes do. T'Pol states the entire crew of the Saleya.
Yep. You
Hey, I got
You
it.
got it.
Nailed it.
Saleya
Nailed
consists
it.
of 147 Vulcans. So there you go. There's your 47 there.
That's 147.
Listen.
Yeah,
there's
but
47
47 is in there if you know how numbers work, Dave.
Couple times even, technically.
Yes, you're right.
Actually, one more thing I'll say. T'Pol's irrational suspicion that humans were against her is a reversal of a similar scenario depicted in Star Trek Enterprise's Strange New World, in which Commander Tucker and other humans suspect T'Pol is working against them. In Star Trek Enterprise Strange New World, the paranoid members of the crew are affected by a hallucinogenic pollen, while here, T'Pol is affected by Trillium D. So there you go. Basically, reuse, recycle. That's what we like to do in Star Trek, so that's what we do. Anyway, that's it. Let's get to ratings.
All right, ratings.
Oh, I guess it's me again. I'm gonna do 7. This is fine.
Adam's not here, but if he was,
He would have did a 7 too, I think.
He would have given it like a 4.
Yeah, I don't think Adam would have liked this.
No, Adam wouldn't have liked this
he
episode.
might.
I would say maybe a 5. He might have given it.
No.
I'd
We
put a
over
star
at
there,
Cleftel
though,
Probe
or-
like him far more intelligent.
Did I
episodes than
like
one.
this? I don't think I did.
No, I don't think
No,
you did
I
either.
don't think you did, Dave.
No, I don't think you
Did I
did. I didn't get
like
that impression.
5.
5 is about where I thought you
All
were.
right. All of your criticisms are totally valid except for the lighting. But I'm still, this is an 8 for me. I enjoyed it.
Wow.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I didn't know if I was going to go up to an 8, but all right.
And Davan.
3.
3?
This
You
is
saw
nothing
last
here.
week's episode
I
was
like
better than this?
like the opening 8 seconds and then the flocks eating popcorn at the end.
Everything in the middle just kind of sucked for you. Eh?
Then the middle was just unthreatening and
Sam says he gives it an 8.
Sam,
He
he
dropped his rating.
started at a 10 out of 10.
He started at a 10 now.
yeah,
Like
what
I said,
happens,
your
man?
criticisms were valid.
He also mentions juicy nuggets, which apparently is now going to be a thing. So there you go.
Juicy nuggets. All right,
You
Jody,
sure you
juicy
don't want
nuggets.
to seek Jody Hara?
Ah, well, you know. Only the true enlightened can seek Jody Haram.
There you go.
And this especially. All right,
Oh, you're
Impulse.
gonna ask me
What comes next?
You're
Jody?
gonna ask me what the next episode is, aren't you? All right, hold on.
It's a Hoshi episode.
It's definitely a Hoshi episode.
Wait.
I remember that.
Wait. Go back to ratings, Dave. Go back to ratings. I'll give it a 4 just because this episode is better than Raijin.
You gave a 5.
What?
You gave Raijin a 5.
I did?
Yeah. Do you want to
God.
change that?
Yeah, I do. Raijin is like a 3.
That's more like a 3. All right.
There we
You give it a
go.
4.
There we go.
Okay.
Now Impulse has a better average rating.
All right,
That's all I
Dave.
needed.
Anyway,
right.
next
We
next
solved that.
episode is Exile, which is Hoshi is contracted by a 400-year-old telepathic alien exiled on a planet in the expanse, shunned by his society because of his abilities. The alien offers to use his power to help Enterprise find the Xindi and the weapon that they are building, but only if Hoshi will stay with him while he works.
That sounds stupid.
It's a creepy episode, but you know what? It's actually a good episode. I remember
Is
this
it?
one. Yeah, I remember. it
Oh,
being
one? Exile?
Yeah.
good. Yeah, Exile.
No, Exile's like a 2.
Oh,
It's
whatever.
really bad.
You're not.
It's
You're.
really bad.
You know what? When's Adam coming back?
No, the shipment is great. The shipment's great in 2 episodes. No,
Shipment is
Exile
awesome.
I watched yesterday.
Shipment is kind
and-
of like the start of
Oh my
everything
God.
awesome in this season. So yeah.
Why do we have to wait till like middle of October?
Because Dave, there's 24 episodes. That's how it
Oh,
works.
God, like,
they did this. They did this in
did this in
Deep
Star
Space
Trek.
Nine. They
In
did this-
every series they've done.
but Deep
this.
Space Nine had better characters and better.
True. and more of them.
Like, it's no wonder this show got canceled. Like, if this was the kind of stuff they were pumping out sometimes.
The writing wasn't
And
there.
yet-
like as
and-
you said,
and yet
like
they
you don't
keep
like Gary
renewing-
Metalis.
They keep
Andre
renewing
Bormanis.
Discovery. It's crazy. I don't get it.
Well, it wouldn't have survived. Discovery would not have made it in this era. I would have tell you.
No,
on
it
TV.
wouldn't have.
Not a chance.
And yeah, speaking of, Discovery's back for a 5th season this year. Make sure to check out our coverage here on Live Long and Podcast. And all the great review shows we do here on Live Long and Podcast.
That's
Yes.
my whatever.
Yeah. We'll be on tomorrow night to continue our Deep Space Nine rewatch podcast series. We're talking.
What episode are you on now?
Tomorrow we're doing. What is what we're doing tomorrow, guys?
The worst episode ever. Wrong's darker than death or night. It's garbage. That's a 1.
You gave it a
is that
0.
the Kira one?
Yeah, I stand by my 0.
Yeah.
A
It's not my
0,
favorite
wow.
either, but
I don't remember the episode.
It's the one where Kira goes back in time, and then she finds out her mom had this like fling with Gul Dukat.
Oh God, yeah, that's a
0.
terrible episode. I don't think
Yeah.
I'd give it a 0, but I would definitely give it like 2-ish.
I think the
It's not
episode.
a 0 for me, but it's sub 5 for sure.
Oh yeah, it's gonna
definitely
be.
below
I'm gonna
5,
be. I'm gonna be below a 5, and
Oh,
we'll see how
100%.
low it goes. I don't like it's. I still always like Marco Limo, and I still always like something like in the way that they wrote it. But it on the other hand, I think that it's an episode I wish they had never done. So anyway, check out our coverage tomorrow on D Space 9 at 9ish. Our review of Wrongs Darker Than Death or Night. And then we got one more week, guys, until we're back with Star Trek Picard. Season 3 starts on the 16th of February.
I'm looking forward to disappointment, Dave.
I'm looking forward for greatness.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Davin's trying to keep me
I
optimistic.
thought
and
that was
positive.
what season 2 was going to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
you thought wrong. That's season 3 you were thinking of.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm optimistic. I'm going in hoping for the best, but prepared for the worst.
I don't think senile Worf and Jody with eyes is going
Worf
to.
is not senile. He's a man of peace on Boreth.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
Take
But
the
anyway,
only thing interesting about Worf and take that away now. Great. Good idea.
But,
What? Anything interesting about you? Shut up!
Worf
you don't think
sucks.
anything's interesting about the way
Worf
Worf was.
sucks.
You
Move
argued
on.
that very thing on Debate 9. You made me argue it.
I know it was awesome, and you brought so many valid points, by the way.
yeah,
So wouldn't logic suggest that you would welcome any change to Worf's character?
more. That's some good logic.
Geez, I just run a Debate 9 round. I'm going to mark that point down.
You can keep that in escrow.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
I'll
so,
use that for credit
anyway,
later.
Jody, you're going to be there for the Picard review, right? Season 3, episode 1.
I can't see why I wouldn't be.
Okay, good stuff. And I think I know Adam wants to be there, and Kevin was like, maybe. So
This comment is awesome.
I'll watch the episode and then
Jody
I'll let
hates
you
Worf.
know.
Shocking.
Jody's the owner of WorfSucks.com.
I own WorfSucks.com.
Yeah, so
I'm not gonna lie.
Burn that website. Burn it.
You take it and burn it.
There's nothing on it. I just own it, so I can have
then,
an
of course,
email
our-
address one day that does that.
We have our science division in Live Long and Podcast, where we do probes and debates and trivia and different things like that. We also have our Locutors of Trek, our pirate radio division, Deep Space.
We probe
Where they
especially when we're seeking Jody Haran.
It's where they give hand jobs out to anybody that thinks fucking Worf is great. There goes our rating.
All right, so check out all of our great stuff here on Live Long and Podcast.
He's like, I can't even do this anymore.
I can't even do this. We're part of United
$15 a
Federation.
man.
Yeah, we got a United Federation podcast. We got amazing shows like the Super Mario Brothers podcast.
I don't know
which
if that's amazing.
well, what about the KBBL? The Simpsons
Oh, that one's
podcast?
pretty good. I like that one.
What about what about Trivial Debates?
You know what? That one's really good, especially when they have that Jody guy on.
What about X-Rated?
Oh,
Oh.
phenomenal.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
the,
real good stuff over there.
The Hellbound podcast.
Fantastic.
What about
Hellbound
the,
stuff.
the Mary Mater Marvel
Yeah,
Society?
I could live without that
Wonderful stuff.
We're doing Ant-Man next week.
one. I'm sorry.
Check that out. And then the Graphics
I
History
think I heard
podcast
that.
with
Very
Andre. where they do some great
Everything's
interviews.
cool on this channel. Let's be honest.
But it's also guess what, guys? It's Hold Up Week, and Hold Up is coming this
It is
Wednesday.
Hold Up Week.
I'm looking
Murphy and
forward to this.
Davin's ongoing quest to figure out if movies were better in the 20th century or the 21st century. And the special guest this week, Jody Simpson, I believe, coming on to talk about
That'd be
spy
me.
movies.
Indeed.
Have you
I
watched the
North
movies yet?
by Northwest yesterday.
I have watched 2 out of the 3.
How's it going so far?
Oh, they're all I'm familiar with all of them. I've seen all of them at least once in my life, so I'm just refreshing myself. But
Okay,
all 3 of them are solid picks.
I had
I'm
never
also
seen.
watching the movies.
What's that?
I haven't seen any of them actually.
You haven't seen any of them? Really? Wow.
No.
I'm surprised by Northwest because that's like a classic. Like
Ronin's
No,
one
I
of
just
those.
hadn't got to that one, but I'm glad I did.
Ronin, I can understand because Ronin came out at a time when there was really awesome movies coming out, so that one kind of went under the radar of a lot of people. So
Mhm. All right,
They're,
and
they're
then
the, they're the unlucky bastard that came out the same week as Jurassic Park.
yeah, well, like, what year is that? Like 94,
93.
93.
Yeah, I think
So there were some
was
amazing
before
movies that came
it.
out in that decade. When you look
Oh,
at
yeah.
back at-
Oh, the 90s had a great selection of movies.
Okay, well, let's hold up. Those are all of the different podcasts. You should check them out if you haven't already. And thanks for being with us and hearing everything we had to say about Star Trek Enterprise Impulse, the Vulcan zombie episode.
was
We've got-
too
I
dark
impulse
and
us to
not
never watch
scary.
this episode again.
We had to say it all because you couldn't see any of it.
It was more of an audio podcast. It was more of a Star Trek radio theater, really. All right.
We're a podcast reviewing a podcast.
Yeah. All right. Let's get out of here, guys. Live long and podcast. We will see you next time, and we'll go out on a clip. How about this one?
Perhaps we should watch and find out.
Part of the fun of a mystery is trying to solve it before it ends, using logic.
You of all
I'll do
people should
Capal's
appreciate
screaming.
that.
Then use logic more quietly.